It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Buckeyes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. It is Friday, April 16th in the year 2021. And tomorrow on this Feel Good Friday, we have a good reason to feel good because tomorrow is the Ohio State Spring Game. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at jstevens07. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter as well at Locked On Buckeye. Lineup for today in segment 2. We're talking about some players that I will be keeping my eyes on during tomorrow's Spring Game. Segment 3, a little segment we're going to start that's called Jay's Weekly Rant. We begin today's show talking about the game that is tomorrow, which is known as the Ohio State Spring Game. With the spring game being canceled, no spring practice last year, no spring game last year, with the uncertainty of last year's season, we're going to have a season that is played. The spring game this year in spring practice holds a lot more weight. We have heard Ryan Day say it. He said it numerous times. We need more practice. 14 spring practices are in the books. You get the spring game tomorrow. You get to see what the players have retained, what they have learned, and you get to see players play in front of fans in the horseshoe for the very first time in over a year. I think it's close to a year and a half. It's been a very long time since fans have been invited in the shoe and players have been invited in the shoe with fans there as well. Spring practice, spring games brings excitement. It brings a level of intensity. For some of you, it may bring adrenaline, like sitting on the edge of my seat, like, I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this. I can't wait to watch this game. Just like some of you were on Thursday, waiting to hear Efton Reed's announcement about where he was going to play college basketball, and then his mom tweeted out, the decision will be postponed. You're like, man, I've been waiting all day. I've been waiting to see what is going on. If Ohio State will be able to get this young man. I saw on Twitter, somebody shared and tweeted out that Efton Reed followed a few Florida State people on Instagram. Okay, take that for what it's worth. But I know many of you are hoping, man, Efton Reed, come to Ohio State. Oh, man, come to Ohio State. Come to Ohio State. You come, EJ stays in school, comes back. Come to Ohio State. Dwayne Washington Jr., yeah, he said he's going to declare, but that's just a play on words, man. We know he's staying. And that's how some of you guys were on Thursday. But I know Buckeye fans. I don't know all of you. I don't know all of you personally. I've talked to some of you via social media. May have done a podcast or two with some of you. But I don't know you guys on a personal level, knowing personal things that are going on every single day. But one thing I know about Buckeye football fans is when that team, their team's on the TV, they're watching, they're locked in, they're focused, so focused that they're gonna say, man, I got my depth chart. Some of you might have a 2 or 3D depth chart, like you're a coach, knowing, I don't know who the depth chart going to be. I don't know who QB1, QB2, QB3 is going to be tomorrow. You don't know any of that stuff. Why? Most of you guys are not inside, or you may not know somebody personally that's a coach or a staffer at Ohio State. I know for a fact many of you have not been at practice. Why? Practice been closed, baby. They ain't letting nobody inside to see what's going on at Ohio State's practices right now. A few people, but not many. So the access has been limited, just like it was during the second pro day that Ohio State had. Y'all just been hoping somebody shares some clips from Ohio State's practice so you can get a peek inside what's going on the practice field. Tomorrow, You ain't got to rely on anybody else to sneak a video out there or for Ohio State's Twitter feed or the Instagram feed to share some things out there. You don't have to do any of that. The game is going to be broadcast on the Big Ten Network. I believe Brandon Gaudin, James Laurinaitis, and then Joshua Perry will be on the call of that. Gaudin and Laurinaitis in the booth. Joshua Perry on the sidelines as a sideline reporter. And then also on 97.1 The Fan, Big Paul Keels is going to be on the call of that game tomorrow. Very happy, very excited. It wasn't that long ago that Ohio State played football, had a couple games this calendar year, a couple in January. I believe the playoff game was in January, the semifinal game. I believe it was. You know, the whole college football playoff, the whole dating. Oh, January 1st used to be the BCS date. It's the biggest day in college football history every single year. Biggest day on the calendar for college football every year because the Rose Bowl and the Orange Bowl, they're always on New Year's Day. And no BCS era anymore. No concrete date about when those games will be played. I miss those days a lot. I miss them. But one thing I will not miss, I'm looking forward to not missing, is tomorrow's spring practice. I've said it once. I'll say it again. I put stock into what we see tomorrow, but it doesn't. I still think that there's still questions that need to be answered after tomorrow's game. Not every question will be answered tomorrow. That's not the formula. That's not the reason for tomorrow's game. Just a great way to gauge where you currently are and what needs to be worked on between now and the start of next football season. Guys, I am excited. I am very happy. Those of you watching via YouTube, we'll talk more about the YouTube channel here in a second. Can see my face, can see the smile on my face. Those of you that are listening, you can tell how hyped that I am right now. Why? Because Ohio State is playing football tomorrow. And man, it makes me very happy. Let's step away very quickly. When we come back, we'll talk about what players I'll be focusing on and watching during tomorrow's spring game. I got a few of them. I got a lot listed here. Maybe players on my list are the same on yours. Who was on my list? Stick around to find out. But first, check this out. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. Football might be over, but NBA, college basketball, and even the NHL are in full swing. BetOnline even covers awards, TV shows, and reality TV. Real-time updated odds and props on almost anything you can imagine. BetOnline has you covered for all the news, scores, and odds. It's the best way to place your bets, and guys, it's even free to sign up. Head to betonline.ag on your computer or mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit when you use promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON. Once again, use promo code LOCKEDON when you go to betonline.ag on your computer or mobile device. And when you sign up, use that code and receive your 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, your online sports book experts. Get all the sports news you need in under 20 minutes with the Locked On Today podcast. Host Peter Bukowski updates you on the latest news in every major sport with the help of our local experts. Follow the Locked On Today podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast. A little voice cracking, sometimes that means this is a good show, and the best of broadcasters had their voice crack every now and then. I mentioned it just a couple seconds ago, but Locked On Buckeyes has a YouTube channel. Some of you, this may be your first time watching or listening the show. I want to say welcome, but some of you may be been consistently watching on Locked On Buckeyes on YouTube since the podcast was officially on YouTube about a week ago. Locked On Buckeyes, every single episode is on YouTube as well as your favorite podcast listening app. Subscribe to Locked On Buckeyes on your favorite podcast listening app, as well as subscribe to Locked On Buckeyes whenever you're on YouTube as well. Search, watch the show, listen to the show, help this show grow. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell everyone you know. Locked On Buckeyes has a YouTube channel, and they need to subscribe to it and help this channel be the most subscribed YouTube channel for any show on the Locked On Podcast Network. during the spring game, you have players you're watching. I'm sure you do. And I have players that I am watching. I have a list. I have a long list that it continues to grow of players I am focusing on and I'm looking to see maybe put more attention into how they play than others. I have quarterbacks. I have running backs. I have receivers. I got tight ends. I got D linemen. I got a DB. And I got LBs as well. Every position. I'll get through as many as I can. I'll list all of them with a short, slight explanation as far as why I am focusing on and looking to see how they play during tomorrow's spring game. Starting offense, going to defense, and on offense, the most important position on the field, quarterback. I have my eye on a couple guys, McCord and Miller. Jack Miller came in with C.J. Stroud and was already named QB2 right behind Stroud before practice even started. Give that man a chance. Give that man a little respect. And I think tomorrow we'll see he's really, really talented, and we shouldn't sleep on him. McCord has that connection with Harrison Jr. We're going to talk about him in a second. But I really just want to see what the young man has for him. Seen a little glimpses and a little view and peek into what we've seen at practice. But I think Buckeye fans are going to be really, really impressed, thoroughly impressed from what they see from McCord and Miller tomorrow on Saturday afternoon, 12 noon on the Big Ten Network. Running back wise, Mayan Williams, Marcus Crawley. Two guys that I believe will be in rotation early in the season. I think one of the two will emerge as the clear-cut number one starting running back for Ohio State. I think the one man in jeopardy of losing his spot and losing reps and carries for Ohio State is Master Teague. I do not think he is the best running back at Ohio State. I don't think he's been the best running back on the roster during any year he has been at Ohio State. Williams, Crowley healthy, Williams healthy. Looking to see what these two young men do on the field tomorrow and seeing maybe is that a glimpse of things to come down the road. At the tight end position, Cade Stover. One thing we know about Ohio State is that they love running 12 personnel. One running back, two tight end sets. Farrell and, Rucker ran that quite a bit last year. Farrell's gone. Solid, consistent guy. Rucker, we know we're going to get. I expect more from him this year. Stover, Ohio State needs him. Needs a backup tight end because Ryan Day likes using that position all the time. Two tight end sets, essentially two guys that are as talented as Stover and Ruckert on the field. Will it be a run? Will it be a pass? Will it be a play action? Will it be a tight end screen? A little wrinkle right there. We don't know. We got to wait and see. But I do think Stover is going to show flashes of things to come, things that Buckeye fans will love. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm not going to go D-tackle, D-end, and all that stuff. I'm just going to say I got my eye on a couple guys. Jack Sawyer and Teron Vincent. Antoine Jackson too, because he's been around for a while, but mainly Sawyer and Vincent. Teron Vincent having a Haskell Garrett jump from one year to the next, like Haskell Garrett had last offseason. Teron Vincent is having that right now. But then also Jack Sawyer, because he's a young man, he's a freshman. He is coming in highly touted. A guy already lost his black stripe. There's a few freshmen that have lost theirs. Sawyer was the first defensive player to lose his black stripe. I am very curious to see and to wonder what we're going to see from him tomorrow. Yes, it's practice. Yes, guys can't tackle. If you get within probably 2 or 3 feet of the quarterback, blowing that whistle, let's stop this thing right now. Let's go into the line of scrimmage and run the very next play. But Jack Sawyer, just like Trevion Henderson, lost his black stripe early on. Very curious to see what he does on the field tomorrow. At linebacker, it's Cody Simon, because I do believe he's going to be in the running to be a starter at Ohio State at the linebacker position. I have heard recently Taraj Mitchell, Dallas Gant, and Kevon Pope. Those are guys that people are saying almost have the starting spots lined up or locked up for Ohio State. One person said that. I say not so fast, my friend. From hearing what we're hearing about Craig Young, I do not think seniority will be what leads this year's Ohio State linebacker core. Last year, you have 4 guys that can be pros in the future in Borland, in Browning, in Werner, and in Hilliard. I do think the seniors that are here at Ohio State, in Mitchell, in Gant, and in Pope, I think there's a spot for them. I think they're really, really talented. But Cody Simon at 6'1", 225, and a sophomore, going back to that old way to say it, I'm going to keep on saying it because it's unique to me. As a sophomore, I do think Cody Simon can also find himself on the field at Ohio State playing linebacker. With defense, it's Lathan Ransom. Because you have heard me numerous times say I think Josh Proctor is the starting safety. But Lathan Ransom's talented, y'all. He is really, really immensely talented. And I wonder how Ohio State finds a way to put him on the field. Is it in maybe it's a 4-2-5 rover situation. I don't think he has the size for that spot. But you never know what wrinkle you have. Is it going to be a 2-eye safety look with a free and a strong, and you run a 4-3, you got two corners, and you make a linebacker a hybrid, still 4-3 look, but hybrid in scheme and in production in execution on the field? I don't know. I'm curious, and I'm wondering how that is going to go. But Lathan Ransom is on my radar. He is on my radar. And Josh Proctor, even though I say I think he has the spot locked up, I'm not going to say he has a spot locked up. I think he should have played more last year. I believe he's going to play a lot this year. But Lathan Ransom, another youngster. I have my eyes on youngsters right now, guys. On youngsters, if you haven't found out that trend, to see what is going on and how he looks during tomorrow's spring game. One guy that I think is going to have a big year to close out this segment, Sevyn Banks. Saw flashes of really good play last year. And I think you're going to see the best of Sevyn Banks this year. And I think he's going to take his play and raise it up to another level. He knows the track record that Ohio State has at cornerback, and he does not want to kill that or end that. He wants to reestablish. You can go ahead and say that. Reestablish and remind everybody what Ohio State's defensive backs and cornerbacks are made of and what they do when they're on the field. Yeah, Sevyn Banks. No, it's April. Looking forward to September. It's saying what he does on the field. Step away very quickly. One more time. When we come back, we start a new segment that may come throughout any day of the week. Today it comes on Friday. That is Jay's Weekly Rant. But first, check this out. There's a good chance you are someone like me that loves a good protein bar. You know, the ones that taste very good, taste like a candy bar, and they fit your macros and your diet plan as well. Well, guys, I have ended my search, and I thoroughly encourage you to possibly end yours as well, because Built Bars are great for the health-conscious guy. That'll help you lose or maintain weight while indulging in a delicious treat. Bars are low-calorie, low-sugar, high protein, high fiber, great for the keto diet. And guys, one thing that's unique about Built Bars is that they are covered in 100% chocolate. Go to BuiltBar.com and use promo code LOCKED15, LOCKED15, and you will get 15% off your next order. Once again, go to BuiltBar.com and use promo code LOCKED15, LOCKED15, and you will get 15% off your next order at BuiltBar.com. April 19th to the 26th, listen to the Ultimate Mock Draft 2021 presented by Locked On and Odyssey, featuring analysis from NFL experts Michael Irvin, Jason Lockett-Fora, and Brian Baldinger. Our local experts for every team making trades and picking the next stars of their team. Search the Ultimate Mock Draft 2021 on the new Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. Odyssey is your audio home for all the sports, podcasts, music, and news that matter to you. That's AUDACY. A new weekly segment here on Locked On Buckeyes as we wrap up this show prior to tomorrow's spring game. Today's subject or topic of discussion for today's Jay's Weekly Rant is media people that are scouts, people that are now that analyze play in any sport that don't watch the game. If you were here during the football season and during the basketball season, you were a recipient of Jay relaying information that he got from watching the game. It's not just going to be the game that Ohio State is playing or that they played. It is also going to be the games or the games from the team that Ohio State is playing next. No matter if it's going to be Oral Roberts, no matter if it's going to be the Minnesota Golden Gophers on September 2nd as they kick off the 2021 Ohio State football season. It does not matter who it is. Jay is going to watch the tape. Jay is going to watch the film. Why? Because his favorite analyst, those that are on ESPN, FS1, CBS Sports, the analysts that Jay watches and you watch on a regular basis, and some maybe you listen to, talk to you about the prospects and the players that are going to be on the court or the field or maybe upcoming and getting drafted in the upcoming draft in that particular league. I watched and witnessed them. I don't know what they did behind closed doors, but when they talked, you could tell that they watched the tape, they watched the film 2, 3, maybe 4 times on the same play to get the grasp and to make sure they understood everything going on in that play. And one thing that irks me, one thing that gets on my nerves, I'm sure I know for a fact it gets on yours as well, it's people that get on TV. And this is not new for this year. It's just the first time I've been on this podcast during a draft cycle. There are people that are on TV right now. I'm not saying names. You know the names out there. You may know names that I don't even think about that don't watch tape. They get their information from somebody else, and then they just regurgitate what is given to them and hope it comes out the same way that they received it. And you can tell by their analysis, you can tell by the way they're talking, you can tell by the way that they're doing certain things that these people do not watch the tape. Justin Fields has been a big piece, a big focus of conversation right now. And I thoroughly missed one analyst out there. He is still living. He has not passed away, but he is now the GM of the Las Vegas Raiders. Your boy almost said Oakland. Pretty proud of myself right there. Pretty proud of myself because say Oakland, it's been Oakland for all my life and probably all your life as well. Yeah, baby. Going to San Las Vegas first time around, very, very impressive. But Mike Mayok. I love Mike Mayok during the draft cycle, during the combine, during the draft itself. He is a full of knowledge. That's what he has when it comes to these players that are about to get drafted. How? Some he does have people helping him, I'm sure, but he watches tape. He watches film of all of these guys. He does help and aid himself because when you watch tape during the season, you focus on a lot of guys. And at the end of the season, you're going to get all of these athletes. 7-round fools, over 250 guys will be selected as upcoming draft. And you know there's more than that even get invited to the combine. So many guys get invited to the combine. So many guys are there. And Mike Mayok, consistently, you can tell he watches tape. Another guy, a second guy that I love during draft time, just any time of year talking ball, is Chris Collinsworth. I believe he was a college football All-American. I believe he's done a lot of good things at Florida. Believe that's Chris Collinsworth, the guy that we all know for calling games with Al Michaels on NBC, Sunday Night Football. Do some research and Google him. Simply go to the Wikipedia. You will find out that Chris Collinsworth is not only an established and accomplished broadcaster, he was a really good football player, wide receiver as well. Chris Collinsworth, you can tell, no matter what you say about the man, a lot of you don't like him, but you cannot deny he watches the tape, and his analysis of players is, slept on, because I think he's one of the best analysts out there in professional football, in the National Football League. Too many guys out there don't watch tape. They probably think, man, that's too much time. I got a family. I got kids. I got a wife. I may have a girlfriend. I got all these things. I have other ventures. But your job right now is to watch tape. It ain't that hard. It's not. If you call yourself an NFL draft scout, if I had a scout on here that didn't watch tape, you could tell it very, very quickly. It ain't hard to figure out. Watch the tape. It ain't hard. DVR games, have somebody splice everything together and put it together for you. David Pollock killed at Georgia, All-American, first-round draft pick. I believe he was SEC Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year as well. One thing I love about him, or to listen to him on podcast, is you can tell that young man spends a lot of time watching game tape over and over and over again consistently. Why? He not only wants to be the best that he can be, but he does not want to embarrass himself when he was on TV, national TV, may it be ESPN, College Game Day, or College Football Live, or even if he is on a podcast, he wants to make sure he relays the right information about these athletes. Watch the tape. One of my biggest gripes and complaints is people in the media that don't watch the tape. They go on TV, they say stuff somebody else says, and they embarrass themselves. A lot of you slander ESPN. I don't go that far slandering companies. I don't do that. I just say, watch the tape. It'll tell you how a player plays on the football field. That was fun, a lot of fun. Get more of that weekly. May not always be on Friday. It may be on a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Tuesday. You got to stick around to figure out when Jay goes on another weekly rant. You guys can always follow me on Twitter at jsteven07. I encourage it. I will follow back. I'll communicate. Tweet at me. Message me directly on Twitter. I don't care. Message me. I will get back at you, and I'll reply. We'll have a healthy back and forth talking Buckeye football and basketball. You guys can always send your emails to jsteven317@gmail.com as well. Follow the podcast on Twitter at Locked On Buckeye. We will not have a post-game recap of the spring game tomorrow right after the podcast or after the game is over. That will come on Monday as we recap what we watch and witness tomorrow during the 2021 Ohio State spring game.